Let's talk with John in Texas.
All right. John, you're live with Eric and V. What would you like to talk about?
I wanted to talk about how substantial evidence is subjective because comprehension is key. So I can show you all the proof and all the evidence, but if you're unable to comprehend it, then it's just a lack of understanding on your part, not a lack of ability to explain.
Well,
and I feel like that's what's going on here. Like most people are real. What is that thing called? Okay, go ahead. You can respond. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So let's say there's something going on in my house. A light is flickering. I'm not an electrician. I don't know what's going on. That doesn't mean that I'm assuming that a ghost knows or a ghost is doing it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call an electrician.
Yeah, I never mentioned a ghost.
Right. But as an example, when we're talking about evidence, yeah, we should have people who have more experience investigate it. So yeah, in that case, call an electrician. Right. If you have a medical claim that maybe looks like a miracle, call a doctor. Right. Get people who are professionals in the field to analyze it, because then you have a better chance of figuring out what's going on. It says in the notes that the way that it's phrased is the idea that we're kicking out things, and calling it bad evidence because we don't understand it. Just like we're not electricians, so we don't know. Yeah. Is that kind of where you're going with this?
Yeah, like you believe your co-host said she doesn't have beliefs. She only knows stuff, which is a lie, because we all are believing in our own logic. Like we choose to believe everything that we know is true. We don't know it for certain. We just choose to believe that this is the most closest thing to what is correct. That we can comprehend.
Well, kind of, sort of. I want to make a clarification. Hi, co-host. Name is V. Pronouns are they, them. So what I was saying before is not that you only believe things you don't know anything, right? What I was saying is there's a mindset in a lot of people, not just theists, but, in general, that it's better to know than to not know. And you need to feel like you know as much as possible. And so that entails sometimes believing things because otherwise you'd have to admit that you didn't know. And for me...
Like how scientists do things? Like how they like to just believe in their theories? Are you talking about that, or you're only talking about people who believe in spiritual things?
I'm not talking about anything specifically. I'm talking about mindsets in general. I think this goes beyond any individual worldview.
But is there a baked-in disbelief of scientists?
That is a little bit leading, just a tad, just a little bit, yeah.
What?
I can't hear you. You're both talking. I can't hear both of you. Can one of you repeat yourselves? The last thing you said.
Yeah, it sounded like you wanted to lead with this idea that scientists are choosing their beliefs or are,
Yeah, that's what happens. We all choose.
Yeah, no, you don't choose your beliefs. John, can you choose to believe that you're an angel? Or a giraffe?
If someone's convinced enough, yeah, they can be...
No. Hold on. No, you don't need that. You said you could choose it. Can you choose to believe you're an F-150?
An F-150, what is that? Airplane?
So that is a Ford truck.
You're talking about airplane, right?
You choose to believe you're an attack helicopter.
I could choose to believe it. It doesn't mean it's true.
I don't think you could choose to believe it. I think that you would knowingly be lying to yourself and that you would be pretending, but I don't think you would be actually believing it. What you believe is what you accept to be true. And that is entirely at the hands of what evidence you have at hand and how you investigate that evidence. I think that trying to deceive yourself, sure, people can try that, but I don't think that is how you operate in the world. That's not how you understand the world around you. You don't choose your beliefs. You evaluate that evidence with the best tools you have available. So no, I don't think scientists choose their beliefs, which is a very weird... Do we do that for other professions? Do dentists choose their beliefs? I don't understand where that's going.
I don't understand the question. Yeah, you're not making any sense right now.
Okay.
Choose your beliefs. Are you talking about the scientific method as a belief, or are you talking about God, or what beliefs are you talking about?
Okay. Do you think the scientific method is a belief?
I mean, obviously, the hypothesis part is what we think is happening. That's part of a belief system. It's not, a subjective fact.
Okay, there's so much wrong with that sentence, I don't know where to begin. Facts are not subjective.
A hypothesis is not a belief.
No.
What's the definition of a hypothesis then? Because I don't think you'll even know what the definition is.
Yeah, your hypothesis, right? In the scientific method, you evaluate things. You come up with a hypothesis, which is a proposed, causal link, right? So let's say my hypothesis is that if I throw this bouncy ball at the ground, that it's going to bounce up. Okay, now I test it, and then upon evaluation of what happened, then I go back to my hypothesis to determine whether or not that panned out. Right? If I did that again with a potato and said, I believe this potato is going to bounce when I throw it at the ground, I test that hypothesis and then I reevaluate it. That's a method. That is not a belief.
I noticed you didn't give me the definition of hypothesis.
I did.
So I know you're avoiding the question, but if you want to give me the definition, I would.
I would appreciate it, John, if you actually treated me like an honest interlocutor. If you think that I'm avoiding a question, then say, hey, I think it sounds like you're avoiding a question. I want to clarify, something like that. But if you're going to say, I know you're avoiding the question because you don't like it, you can fuck right off. Because we don't treat you that way and we don't treat callers that way. So don't treat us that way.
All I said was you're avoiding the question, and I asked what the definition was.
Okay, so when it comes to a hypothesis, I could get it wrong, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try, right? My understanding of a hypothesis is a proposed cause of a thing, right? So a hypothesis is just the start of the scientific method. And the very beginning is you come up with a proposed thing that you want to test, right? So you could hypothesize what's going to happen when you burn a thing, right? And then you test it and you evaluate the evidence and go back and find out whether or not the hypothesis was true.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna agree to disagree, but I want to leave with this. I want to add.
I'm going to agree to disagree with
the word hypothesis.
Wait. What do you think hypothesis is?
Yeah.
John, give us a definition.
Sorry. Hypothesis. That's a proposed idea. That's it. In other words, it's a theory. Hypothesis is a theory on how something works.
Wait, no, a hypothesis is not a theory. A hypothesis is what comes before a theory.
Yeah, theory comes much later.
Yeah, if we're talking about the scientific method, then you should know that, right?
I know that's what you've been taught, but that's another thing too. Most people, they don't think for themselves. They just blindly regurgitate. They just blindly regurgitate what they were taught, and they never have no actual.
I was taught young Earth creationism.
Yeah. Okay. What was I going to say? So do you think reality is subjective or objective?
I think that your reality is very subjective, but I also think that we've wasted enough time on this call, to be honest.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, John, so instead of using colloquial use of the word theory, look up the actual definition of what a theory is. And, the more you educate yourself about the scientific method, the better it's going to sound when you call into a show, obviously showing that you're using very loose language that is confusing the topic.
Objective? What are you talking about? Hypothesis? These are all words y'all use. I'm not using any loose terms.
We listened to you. That's how we got here. Do you think we came up with the word hypothesis during the listen back to the call? You're the one who brought the language in, dude.
I'm talking about you don't agree with the scientific method. I'm saying if you agree with the scientific method, these are the things that...
I don't think you know what the scientific method is.
You don't even know what it is, right? And then you're trying to defend it. Like, you know what you're
am I getting gaslit by this guy?
I think he's trying real hard and failing. He's gone now, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you for dropping that. I was going to get steamed. What? Okay, for those of you who don't know about gaslighting, right? When somebody is being really shitty and then they accuse you of that exact shitty thing, that is a form of gaslighting. It's a form of abuse.